Hello and welcome back. My name is Shamel. Leo is currently sleeping under the table, and welcome back to Mel's Lounge. So this video here is the first of my Watch Me Burns, where I'm currently making Christmas decorations for my Dungeons and Dragons group. I've only been playing with them for maybe 2 months. It's not been very long, which means that I don't actually know them overly well. You know, I know their characters far better than I know them as people. So I kind of got them a generic gift, which was a light up D20. So when it lands on 20 it lights up, so you know when you've got a critical hit. And I got the Dungeon Master a dragon mug, because you know, you can. So I kind of thought, since the gifts were a bit generic, maybe I could make them something a little bit more personal. I still don't know heaps about them, but I do know about their characters. So this one I'm doing now is a little baby gargoyle, seeing as our Dungeon Master really enjoyed beating the crap out of us when it came to facing his gargoyle. And he almost seemed a little bit sad when we killed it, but you know, it was him or us. So I thought I would make him a nice little gargoyle decoration, especially as it would have been the easiest of the monsters that he's thrown our way to do. Also the cutest. He sent ice wolves our way. They were painful. Oh my god, they were painful. Witches. What else has he sent our way? Undead. So as cute as an undead, probably zombie head would have been, I think the gargoyle was a better option. So I just did a very basic drawing of this. One of the main reasons that you haven't actually seen me do the lead pencil drawings that you can faintly see on there was because I started off with a massive bit of MDF, which is what I'm burning on. And from there I carefully cut round them on the bandsaw, then cleaned it up a little bit with the file before, you know, drilling holes in them. Probably a slight reminder with the hole where it is that we killed him, but oh well. So I didn't want to burn and then cut in case I made any mistakes with cutting. For example, the right ear, I already had to change that one a little bit to suit how that was cut. And you just kind of can't help these things. Bandsaw doesn't always want to do exactly what I want it to do. It gets really close though. And sometimes I just make errors with it. And that happens. Now the runes that I'm about to colour in a minute, once I've finished doing the eyes and ears, actually say Happy Holidays. I just thought that that would be nice to have like a little secret message to my group. When I gave them these presents, because I gave them last week since I was sick over Christmas and I couldn't do our final session just before, they all thought it said Merry Christmas, but then they realised that the first rune was the same on both words. And it was more of the fact that because the first word, whether it be happy or merry, have a double letter in it. So they're all like, oh, I must say Merry Christmas, and they were all happy with that. Whereas I wasn't overly sure about any of them having certain religions or anything else. So I didn't want to upset anyone by doing Christmas if they didn't celebrate Christmas. I know some people just don't celebrate it because, you know, family is just that's the way it is. Never really done it. And then for some people it's just a tradition they've always done, no religious context involved. And for some people lots of religion. So I thought Happy Holidays would just kind of be a easy get out of jail free card for this. This idea was actually given to me by a customer that sadly never got back to me. They wanted wooden Christmas decorations made for friends, but they never replied to my email responding to their commission, which was a little bit sad because I had the wood and everything ready to go. I just needed to ask them a few more questions before I started. But that's actually given me the idea to do Christmas decorations every year now for the stall and everything I do at conventions. And what I intend to do is to make them one-offs. So, well, not one-offs, but limited edition series, if that makes more sense. So, at the moment here in Adelaide, we only have AvCon and Supernova now. We've lost Oz Comic Con, which is sad. So that means that my chance to sell these things is now a little bit more limited. So my intention is to do those Christmas decorations based on the celebrities that come to Supernova and the fandoms that they will attract. And then once I've made those particular ones and they've sold, I will not be making them again, unless it's a special order. But they just won't be available on the table. So I thought that my Dungeons & Dragons group would be a very good way to test how feasible this is. Naturally, these are a little bit thick. It's plywood that's about 7mm thick. Not plywood, sorry, MDF. My intention is to make them out of 3mm plywood, so they're nice and they're light and easier to shape, which means that there'll be less errors and more of a chance that it will just be easier in the long run. I can get them done quicker, I can keep the prices down, which is my main intention. So I don't want them to be too high. Now this one is for the other ranger in the group, because I'm a ranger as well. She has a hawk, because she's a higher level than me. And she has been very stubborn about not naming her hawk. I wanted to call him Tony Hawk, but I got shot down. So this is Hawk, formerly known as Hawk. Very creative, I know. So I did her a nice little hawk to go up on her Christmas tree. She absolutely loved it when I gave it to her. She was just so happy. Though she was much happier with the dice. She loved the dice and insisted with playing with it for the rest of the day. I was a little bit unhappy with the design of the wings, but at the same time I didn't want to put too much detail into them. I wanted a very simple design. I just feel that they look a bit odd. Now, to get each of these ones done, it was actually quite difficult, mainly because as the drawing progresses, the burner in my hand is becoming increasingly hotter. And so by this point, I'm trying to get the runes done as quickly as possible because my hands are actually a little bit sore from the burner at this stage. But considering I knew that I would be stop-starting between each one, my main aim was to get each one done in one hit and then take a break after that. Now this is a holy mace for our priest, who in the battle where I actually gave these to everyone, we almost lost our priest. In fact, we all almost died against a massive spider we weren't meant to face. So the DM had challenges that we were not meant to face, and we kind of ignored all the warning signs that maybe we shouldn't be going this way, and we continued there anyway. Because we're dumb. it actually kind of figured that the session that I actually gave these to everyone, where it was clearly all about their characters, that we almost all died. And were seriously considering, as each one of us fell. Alright, gonna have to re-roll a character. What should we be? But no, our priest didn't even get a chance to attack or anything. He just went down in the first hit, which was really scary because he's our healer. I didn't actually do too badly in this battle against this giant mithril spider that the DM had concocted, apparently from another dimension, because the dwarves had summoned it and messed with things they should not be messing with. I did the most damage I've ever done because I was wielding a new weapon. I was really happy with my new weapon. It's a trident that allows me to breathe underwater, which is so cool. And I managed to do 18 points of damage in one hit. I was so happy. I've never done that much, and I'm a dual wielder. So, dual wielding ranger. So the fact that I could do that much damage, we actually nearly killed it as well before our last character had to run and hide somewhere that was small enough that the spider couldn't get to him and call for help through a psionic character that our DM had. I don't think he ever intended for this character to be used as backup for when we were in over our heads. And I think we've all kind of learnt a lesson that we're going to have to be a little bit more careful from now on. Because I don't think he's actually going to let this character come back and help us the second time. But we got it down to a quarter of its health left before this character came and finished off, because very high level psionic character. I was actually really happy with how all the little spikes came out, with the attempt to get it looking 3D. Felt that did rather well. I'd kind of hoped that this particular design would be a quicker and easier one to do, but I forgot about the fact that I would be shading in a part of the mace, which meant that it would take just as much time as the other two, just for the shade time alone. Now, obviously this video is sped up to 3 times the actual speed in which I did this, as you have to be very careful when you're burning things, as you are very prone to making mistakes, and we don't really want to do that. So this next weapon was for our barbarian. During one of our campaigns, he actually got a little bit upset with us because we'd found this amazing axe he wanted, but the price of using the axe meant that it would attract a lot of high-powered monsters our way and be likely to turn him evil. So we promised to buy him an axe, or to find him a magical axe, which would be more beneficial. He didn't seem to mind the idea of being turned evil, but he in the end agreed that maybe he could get a better enchantment. But he still really wanted the axe, in fact to the point where he's now looking at making his own. So I thought that if I gave him a nice little axe, maybe that would make him happy. Well, a little bit happier than what he was with us when we told him no. He could have defied us. We did kind of We didn't say no in the sense that you have no say in this. We just strongly recommended it because we didn't want to be the ones to have to kill him later on if he turned on us. And knowing our DM, who is very evil, and very lovely, but very evil, he would have made him turn on us. Probably a little too happily. My original design for the axe was actually so the handle was a little bit longer, but with the MDF I had, and looking at the design, I just felt it would have been a bit awkward if the handle was any longer than it was, because I kind of wanted everyone's stuff to be roughly similar in size. But yeah, this design did take the longest for obvious reasons, because there is a lot more detail in this one than in any of the others, and I know he sure as hell appreciated that. But I tried to keep the design kind of simple, but at the same time add little things that I knew that he would like. I actually ended up giving this to them on New Year's Eve because we ended up having an extra session there. I'd missed 2 of the previous sessions, one because of illness and the other one because my brother's fiance had a birthday and I unfortunately had to attend. We had a lot of fun though at the birthday, and she really enjoyed it, which was good. That was the main thing. That, and I knew I would see these guys the next night, and I would have to catch up on anything I missed, which was sad because, you know, things actually got interesting. We started adventuring again because we'd had a couple of downtime sessions where we were just doing some basic investigating around town, no real fighting. So I was pretty happy that I came back on the session where we actually started finding stuff again, and then was shocked at the fact that, you know, we almost died. Though, unfortunately, because we ended up doing this a bit later than I had envisioned, so by the time I got home at 3 AM, the lovely and beautiful Leia was actually waiting outside for me across the road. She had managed to jump the back fence, which is over 2 meters high, and we think it's because of the fireworks. I mean, normally she's not fazed by them, but I found out from my neighbours that the fireworks actually started around 10 and went till 2. And so that means it was 4 hours of loud noise. And I felt so bad and so horrible. You know, I nearly lost my baby girl. She ended up cutting her back leg getting over the fence, so we had to go to the vets the next day. But at the same time, I was really happy she didn't wander off. She kind of stuck around. But yeah, very lucky not to lose her. We've now reinforced all the fences. They are now higher again. So this weapon here is for our rogue. She recently came into possession of a chakram that when you throw it, it comes back. And she really, really likes this weapon. Actually, her weapon design for these Christmas decorations was actually the first one I did, because I was drawing these in the middle of a session. Thankfully, none of them caught on what I was planning, but it allowed me to stealthily ask, because I wasn't sure what the priest's weapon was, because most of the time he uses his prayers in a fight, And prayers are a little hard to draw. So thankfully he does have a real physical weapon. And he also has a crossbow, but I figured a mace would be a little bit easier to draw. Now I was a little bit unhappy. As you can see around the middle, I've added a bevel on the inside, but there's no bevel on the outside. That was because my whole saw didn't want to cut through, and since we've been doing up my garage, I can't seem to find my Allen key set. I'm so annoyed. So the middle drill for the whole saw fell out, and I needed the Allen key to put it back in and tighten it, and I just couldn't find it, and so I was left with this horrible cut. Because I do have another hole saw, but it's significantly smaller. So I used that, and then I used my bobbin sander to slowly widen it, which was so annoying and painful. And then using files, I created that bevel around the middle to kind of hide where the first hole saw had cut. She seemed really happy with it. She really liked that part of the design. She just doesn't know it was a mistake. But yeah, her design by far was the simplest and the easiest to burn, though it gave me the most grief for making. And her design is the one where you can see the runes the clearest, and it's at this point I kind of realised on one of the symbols I'd missed a double line, so I just had it as one solid line on all the others, so I just quickly went back and fixed that on all of them. So I chose a colour that represented them all the best, so we had gold for our rogue, who loves to steal things. He is very much so a klepto. And for our priestly he had silver, blue for our DM, red for our Highlander Ranger, and green for our slightly evil Barbarian, but we love them anyway. So thank you all for joining me. This has been a Watch Me Burn. Leia is quite happily still with us, still sleeping, even if she is slightly drugged up, so that way I can get things done in peace and she can heal. This is her looking all so cute and adorable and sleepy, and not very responsive for the fact that, you know, she is on drugs for her leg. So, I'll catch you all next time. Leave a comment down below if you like, subscribe if you want to see more of these, and of course I'll catch you next time. See you later, bye!